Baie laag. Okay. Let's look at this one. So I'm going to start from the beginning. We started this one the other day, but we didn't finish it. So I'm just going to start it right from the beginning. Ons het net hierdie hoek en hierdie hoek. So we have to look at those when we start. So let's look at the angle A. Can we deduct any information about the angle A by looking at this 22? Nee, ons het nie genoeg inligting nie. Stem julle saam? But I can see that the same chord that subtends the 70 degrees at the midpoint of the circle also subtends A. In other words, A must be equal to 35 degrees, and my reason will be midpoint, angle at midpoint is 2 times the angle at circumference. Okay, so this one is 35 degrees. Now when we move on to B, you didn't have to do these alphabetically, maar ek gaan nou. If you look at these two chords, hulle is dieselfde lengte en sien julle hulle onderspan die hoeke A en B onderskeidelik. So if you go from this one, so, dan onderspan hy daai ene en van hierdie ene, so, dan onderspan hy daai ene. You see? Now remember, equal chords subtends equal angles, so B must also be equal to 35 degrees. Baie amper nou van my stoel afgeval. Gelyke koorde, gelyke hoeke. Goed, so as hierdie ene ook 35 grade is, beteken dit hierdie hele hoek altesaam is 70 grade. You guys see that? You agree? This angle is equal to 70 degrees. Nee? Okay. Nou as jy van die hoek V en R af opgaan na Q toe, kan jy ook van die hoek V en R of van die punt V en R af gaan na hoek C toe. Like this. If you put your fingers there, you see that they subtend this one and they also subtend that one. Okay? Stem julle saam? Met ander woorde, hoe groot sal die hoek C wees? 70 degrees, and what would my reason be? Hoeke in dieselfde cirkelsegment, né? Circles in the same, angles in the same circle segment. Kyk, as ek die strikdasie gaan teken. Sien julle hom? Dit vat 'n rukkie om hierdie te begin raak sien. Okay, do you see the strikdasie? The bow tie. Okay, now let's look at the angle D. So what I oftentimes do when I can't easily see what it will be equal to is I work back. Do you agree that D comes from the point Phi and T? Stem julle saam? Do you agree? The angle D is formed from the point Phi and T. Okay? Is there another angle that is also formed from the point Phi and T? Don't look at this one in the middle. You can look at that one. So what will this one be equal to? 35, right? But open to contraction, but I want you to look for another one. You see Phi T also goes to that one. Okay? Sien ek kon enigiemand van daai twee redes neergeskryf het. Ek wil net hê julle moet hierdie ene raak sien. Hy het ook 'n strikdasie. Hy's net 'n skewe strikdasie. Okay, so you can write down D is equal to 35 degrees, and your reason would either be midpoint is equal to 2 times circumference, or hoeke in dieselfde cirkelsegment. Sien julle hom? If you wrote down your reason, midpoint or circle at midpoint is equal to twice angle at circumference, then it's fine. Okay, so ons het nou tot by D. Dan moet jy gesien het hieronder. What type of a triangle is that? Isosceles triangle. Do you agree? sien julle? Hierdie driehoekie hieronder is 'n gelykbenige driehoek. Né? So in other words, the angle E must also be equal to 35 degrees. En jou rede is hoeke teenoor gelyke sye. Angles opposite equal sides. Then for F, it's easy to find because it'll just be angles of a triangle. Because if we look in this orange triangle, we have E 35, we have G 35, so F must be 110. Yes, Stefan.
Juffrou, by kom ons sien QRVT by geskryf daar so.
QRVT. Yes, jy kon. Okay, look at this, guys. Angles in the same circle segment. 100%.
For F, man. For F.
For E. You see there? Okay. Mooi. It's gonna happen oftentimes that there's more than one way to get to the right answer. So just check with me. It's perfect. Okay. Goed, dan vir F het julle 110 grade. Stem julle saam? Okay, before we carry on, I quickly want to show you something because that concerns the next part of the work. Okay. Stem julle saam, daai ding wat ek nou pink ingekleer het is 'n vierhoek. It's a cyclic, it's a quad, a quadrilateral. Okay? How do you know that? It has 4 sides. Okay. Die definisie van 'n koorde vierhoek is 'n vierhoek wat bestaan uit koorde. Do you agree that this is a chord? What's a chord? It's a line drawn from one point on the circle circumference to another point on the circle circumference. Né? En hierdie is 'n koord, en hierdie is 'n koord, en hierdie is 'n koord. So daai ding wat ek pink ingekleer het is 'n koorde vierhoek. In other words, all 4 sides are made up of chords. In English, we call it a cyclic quad. Because do you see that all 4 points are on the circle circumference? Eh? A cyclic quad. Now we're going to do this next. What is the size of this angle? 70 degrees. What did we just calculate is the size of F? 110. What do you get when you add 70 and 110? 180. And what do we call it when the sum of 2 things gives me a 180? Can you guys remember? You say they are supplementary. Onthou julle dit? Hulle is supplementêr. As twee goed saam vir jou 180 grade gee, dan is hulle supplementêr. Alles waai weg. Ja? Who said ma'am? Ma'am? Herbert, yes, ma'am? Ma'am, what? But we get to cyclic quads now. But I just want you guys to see that this is an example of where the 2 opposite angles of a cyclic quad is supplementary. Sien julle as ek het 70 grade en 110 grade, dan gee dit saam vir my 180. Do you agree? Hallo, stem julle saam dat 70 en 110 saam vir my 180 gee? Okay. Whew. Now moving on to G. Do you see that there's another strikdassie there? Grade 11s, it is so important that you see that the edges of the bow tie are always on the circle circumference. They can't just go park themselves in the middle of a circle somewhere. On the circle circumference. In other words, G must be equal to 22 degrees. Angles in the same circle segment. Yes. You can't just say angles in the same. Oh, you can, yeah, you can leave the circle out.